everyone, this is Amisha Designs. My name is Ayana Gomez and welcome to my channel. On this channel, I share with you guys ways you can refashion clothing you no longer wear from in your closet or even clothing you pull off of sales racks. Now in today's video, I want to share with you guys how I create my pants patterns from pre-existing pants that fit me pretty well, specifically shorts. So let's get into it. Now the first thing you want to get yourself is that shorts that fits you pretty well, and this is always my go-to shorts. Now I want you to pay specific attention to the material of the shorts that you're using. Now if you're refashioning a piece of clothing that is non-stretchy, you're gonna want to make sure and use a shorts that is non-stretch fabric. The reason why I'm saying that is because non-stretch fabrics give your exact waist measurement to fit. There's no stretch, so you have to make sure that the waist area, the thigh area, and wherever that shorts is stopping is your exact sizes. With stretchy fabrics, it does not have to be the exact size because it stretches to fit. So keep that in mind when you're selecting your shorts to create your pattern. Make sure it is a fabric that matches what you're about to refashion. Once you have your shorts, put that aside. You want to get yourself some brown paper or gift paper, newspaper. Now why I'm recommending brown paper or gift paper or the newspaper is because those come in a wide width and also a very long length. If you're using normal print paper, you're gonna find yourself having to stick a lot of the paper pieces together to create a very wide and lengthy piece of material to create your pattern on. So I would recommend getting yourself a nice roll of brown paper or a nice roll of gift paper. If you have newspapers lying around, that's also great. You can stick 2 sheets of those newspapers together to get that great length you need. Once you have that, you want to get yourself some marking tools, a pencil or a marker. If you're using brown paper or gift paper, a pencil will be just fine. But if you're using the newspaper, because of all that print and all that color, you want to get yourself a good marker, a color that you're going to see throughout all that printing, because you want to be able to make sure you can see what you're cutting out. You want to get yourself a ruler. Now you may not have a yardstick, but you may probably have the normal length, I think it's like 12-inch rulers. That will be fine as well. If you can get your hands on a French curve ruler, that will also be great. If you don't have one, that's okay. I'll show you how you can still make sure that you get a pretty good curve, especially when you're creating your crotch area. Also, make sure you have yourself a pair of scissors. Now, I remember saying to you guys in the tools video that I created a while back, you can go onto my channel and you can look for that video. It is the link above. And what you want to get yourself is a pair of scissors dedicated solely to cutting paper. If you use your fabric scissors to cut paper, you're going to end up dulling it and it's not going to cut your fabric nice and straight. You're going to also get frustrated cutting when it gets dull. So get yourself a pair of scissors dedicated solely to your paper. Once you have all those tools, you can get started. So let's go. Okay, so once your paper is nice and flat laid down and you have it all ready, let's get started. So what you want to do is take your pants, and the first thing, let's create that front piece for the pants first. So what you're going to do, identify the front of your shorts, and you are going to fold your pants in half. Once you fold that pants in half, what you want to do is really pull out that crotch area so that you get this nice curve forming. Once you've done that, take your shorts, lay it on the paper. Take, for the purpose of this video, I'm going to use my marker so that you can see the lining that I'm drawing out. Now don't worry to go 1 inch away from the fabric. I want you to just trace out this line that you have here. So just follow the shape of your shorts. Make sure you are following that curve. Now for this, I'm going to go down a little right here, because after this crotch curve, you will notice that it comes down a bit. That is actually the length of the pants. Now this pants is a great length, but I have to keep in mind that the pants is already hemmed. So I am going to go down a bit to give myself some length. And I'm just going to go across now and meet my other end. Okay, so here is the front. So I'm just going to write front. And I'm also going to write non-stretch. So I would know that this pattern is only for non-stretch fabric. Now that we have our piece cut out, I want to be able to give this piece 1 inch seam allowance. This is where the ruler comes in. Now I'm going to give it that 1 inch seam allowance. So what you want to do is let your ruler, let that 1 inch lay onto the line that you have drawn, and right at the tip, this is my 1 inch, and I'm going to do this throughout on the pants, making sure that my 1 inch line is constantly resting on the line that I drew out. Again, this is to ensure that I am creating that 1 inch seam allowance for when I am sewing. The reason why I'm doing this 1 inch seam allowance right now, it's because I don't want to have to do that when I'm cutting the pattern out. sure when you reach the curved area to create that 1 inch, actually place your ruler in the shape of the curve so that your seam allowance line creates that curve as well. This is where my French ruler comes in. I'm just going to really define the curves that I created here. Now, because of the pencil lines, I don't know if you can see them clearly, but with the pencil lines, they're a bit straight and I need it to be curved. So I'm using this curved part of the French curl and I want to make sure that my lines are lining up on this curve as best as possible. There we go. And then I'm just slightly turning that French curl, making sure that all my lines are nice and clean. I'm just going to connect my curve right here from the crotch, ending of that crotch curve. I'm going to let that join onto there. There we go. Right. There we go. And all the way around, I have this 1 inch seam allowance. I'm just going to continue doing what I was doing with my French curl and continue to create the curve aspect. May seem like a lot of work right now, but it's gonna be worth it at the end. Right, now that I have I'm right between my pencil line and my marker line, sorry, I'm just gonna write 1 inch seam allowance, SE. 1 inch SE, seam allowance. 1 inch SE, seam allowance. I'm writing it all over so that I will know. And what I'm also going to do, this area here has to be placed on the fold. So on the straight edge of your pattern, you want to just write on fold, so that you would know that this area has to be on the folded edge of your fabric. Alright? Now what we just did here for the front, you're going to do for the back. So you're going to take your shorts again, open it out, identify the back of your pants and fold it in half so that you have your back aspect. And again, you want to pull that crotch and really define that crotch area to get that crotch curve for you to create it. Now I'm going to do this part off camera and then I'm going to come back and we're going to cut out our front and our back piece. Alright, so now that I've folded my pants to get my back pattern, again, please make sure that your curve is well defined there by the crotch area. Take your marker, pencil, and again, just draw out that area. Remember to come down about, let me give you an exact, okay, come down about 3 inches from the edge. This is to give you that extra space to have that seam allowance. Okay, so now I have my back piece. I did the same thing, just wrote 1 inch seam allowance, and on this straight edge I'm going to put on folds. This is so I would know that this is the edge that going on the folds of the fabric. So now that I have my front and back piece, I'm gonna cut them out. So I'm just gonna find my scissors. Okay, I have it here now. Just gonna turn this to me, and I am cutting along the penciled line, which is my seam allowance line. I'm not gonna cut the pink line, I'm gonna cut the penciled line, because this is the line that tells me that my pattern already has that seam allowance that I need. Here it is, my front and my back pattern pieces. Now, what I like to do when I'm creating my pants, especially when they are non-stretched fabrics, I always like to use zippers to be able to get in and out of my pants. So what I'm going to do for this is actually create a waistband pattern as well to be able to go along with my piece. Now, no, don't worry, you don't have to get a tape measure to measure your waist area and then divide and multiply and subtract, and oh my goodness, no. Let me show you what you can do to create that waistband pattern that you're going to use. You're going to take your pants once again, and what you want to do is fold. I'm just going to cut out this extra piece here. Hold on. Okay. What I'm going to do lengthways with my paper, lengthways, I'm just going to fold this half. Paper is not even. Come here. Look, my little delicate pencils. Alright. Now, to create the waistband, you just need the measurement, your waist measurement. And you can actually use the pants for this. Now, just fold your pants. It doesn't matter if it's front or back, it doesn't matter. You just want that waist measurement. So this, you're gonna take your pants fold right there and place that against the paper fold, right? Where you fold your paper in half. This is the folded edge of the paper, this is the folded edge of the pants. So what you want to do is place that folded edge of your pants onto the folded edge of your paper, and you're just gonna measure out this waist measurement right here. What you also want to do, even though this is the length of the waistband right now, you want to go about an inch longer to give yourself a seam allowance for folding in raw edges. So I just want to get the measurements right now. Okay, I'm going to use my little board here. And again, as I said, I'm going to go 1 inch away. If you don't have a board like that, that's okay. Use your little ruler. Place your ruler at the edge of your waistband and just go 1 inch away. And that is your stop point. Now for my waistband, I actually want my waistband to be 1 inch wide. I want it to be a 1 inch wide band. So for that, what you would want to do is go down 2 inches. From that point you drew out just now, go down 2 inches. Okay, I like to use my board because the board comes in handy in making sure that my lines are straight. Okay, so I'm gonna go down 2 inches. And I'm going to do the same here. I'm going to go down, again using my board, I'm going to go down 2 inches by the fold here as well. Alright, just putting that point. And I'm going to take my ruler and connect the 2 inch line there and the 2 inch line here. 2 inch waistband. I'm now going to take my scissors and simply follow what I drew out. And when you open out, you're going to have to cut this piece out ×2. So let me put that here. 2 times. Cut. So when you cut 2 pieces of this band, you can just connect it. And you have the length required for your waistband.